Consultants Report. Main issues related to the merger. There are many different needs for change with these merged companies. Organizational development can be more effective and less stressful if a company has the ability to anticipate the needs for change. There are two types of change, reactive change and proactive change. Reactive change involves making changes in response to problems or opportunities as they arise. Proactive change involves making carefully thought-out changes in anticipation of possible or expected problems or opportunities. This is also called planned change. It is also important to be adaptable in order for a company to survive. This is why listening to what consumers want and need is so vital. Companies also need to stay competitive. There are 3 reasons why companies need to stay competitive. The reasons are customer preference, competitor challenges, and internal changes. The best practices for merging company cultures into one new culture. There are 4 practices for merging company cultures into one new culture. They are expression of empathy, creating a vision, healthy interaction between management and employees, and an incentive-based performance approach. Expression of empathy. This is where the capacity to understand and experience someone else's perspectives, feelings, or ideas. Creating a vision, ideally an organization's culture, should embody its corporate vision. Healthy interaction between management and employees. This is where positive reinforcement and encouragement are integral components of fostering a connection between management and employees. An incentive-based performance approach. Employees often dread performance reviews with management, so in review sessions, talk about what they can earn when improving their work. Appropriate change process. There are a few different tools that would be used to manage the corporate culture of change. Some of these tools are information, support, and resources. Information has to do with the organizations providing all stakeholders with an adequate information about the details of the change, including the reason a change is being implemented. Support has to deal with an employee is expected to perform new tasks or use a new instrument. They may experience difficulties. Resources are a tool because if an employee is expected to perform, they must provide them with sufficient resources. Appropriate change process continued. The compatibility of values, ethics, and goals of the change process and corporate culture are also very important. The change is implemented correctly. The values, ethics, and goals of the company should not change. Change is oftentimes a good thing, and when employees are kept informed of what is going on and what is changing, it can make a world of a difference. One thing to make sure is done is good communication. Communication is huge, and without it, the whole balance of the company can be thrown off. Resistance and how to overcome it. It is no surprise that a company may see some resistance from employees. There are some reasons why employees are generally resistant to change. Some of these reasons are fear of the unknown is where people do not know what is about to happen or what the final result will be. Management knows best is where employees resist management that gives the perception that employees can't ask any questions and must obey management. Status quo just fine. Status quo just fine is where many employees wonder why a change is necessary. This is where they think the way of operating is just fine. Resistance to change deals with when people often resist what occurs during a change, not necessarily the change itself. There are also ways to overcome this resistance. Companies can overcome these resistances. Some ways to do this is by planning for these common barriers discussed above. Managers being proactive can make all the differences. Listening and learning. It will help managers gain information on what is really going on. Trust is another critical component of overcoming employee resistance. Leaders will not be able to influence employees if they do not trust them. Communication is the biggest way to overcome resistance. Prepare the employees to give them notice. Don't just spring a change on them out of the blue. Make sure communication is clear and consistent. Employee empowerment. Employee empowerment is the practice of providing organizational members with explicit authority to solve problems and make decisions. A highly skilled employee that is involved in the decision-making process is likely to be very engaged and personally vested in the success of their division and the organization as a whole. Empowered employees are more skilled, more involved, more productive, and more accountable than employees who are not empowered. Empowered employees experience a significant level of fulfillment, which translates to a high level of loyalty and dedication to the organization. They are enthusiastic about contributing to the goal of enhancing organizational effectiveness and positively impacting the organization's culture. Workplace stress. Stress is the manner in which the human body responds to challenges. A high level of stress in the workplace adversely impacts productivity and interpersonal interaction, thereby hindering organizational effectiveness. On the other hand, some stress may sharpen one's focus and enhance productivity. Some factors that result in workplace stress are lack of job security, excessively high workloads, poor work relationships, minimal responsibility, and lack of trained resources. Break things into smaller tasks if you are feeling stressed out. Then it doesn't look like one big job, it looks like a few smaller jobs. Communicate with employees on how they are doing. One other way to reduce stress in the workplace is by simply sharing your stress with someone else. It will help you blow off some steam. Some other helpful ways are take time to recharge, track what is making you stressed, talk to your supervisor if you are feeling too stressed out at work. In conclusion, becoming a high-performing team. There are many characteristics of a high-performing team. Some of them are diversity, clear goals and expectations, effective communication, and trust. Diversity is effective teams are composed of members with a wide range of skills and experiences which draw for support, guidance, and motivation. Clear goals and expectations. In order to have multiple people work towards a common goal, objectives must be clearly understood by all team members. Each person should know what his or her responsibilities are. Effective communication. It is important that team members feel comfortable speaking their mind about their responsibilities. Trust. Members of a high-performing team must trust one another to pull their own weight and get their jobs done to the best of their ability. There are my references. Thank you.